Coming back to this section 10, the last section 3, section 10D of the part indicates that basically your invention should be, your draft application that you are drafting for the invention should be accompanied with the abstract which provides technical information about the invention. Section 10.4a is very important because it indicates that whatever PCT application, so for example, how this particular section is relevant is because if you are not a citizen of India and you want to file the application in India, you have to go through the PCT route that we just discussed, right? Or you can directly file a conventional application. So this application, either by conventional or by PCT, it is referred to as international application. So this international application needs to have the title, description, drawing, abstract, and claims filed with the application at the time of filing complete application. So this is very important concept. So indirectly, this also gives the requirements of various sections that we discussed for to be a part of that particular complete specification or the draft. Section 10(5) of the Patents Act indicate that the claim or claims of the specification shall relate to a single invention or to a group of invention linked to a so as to form a single inventive concept, and shall be clear and succinct, and shall be fairly based on the matter disclosed in the specification. So as the name indicates, it needs to have, firstly, it can have multiple independent claims or multiple claims, but all these claims have to be directed towards a single invention. That means, like I told you an example, if your invention is about a mobile phone, you cannot write anything apart from that mobile phone or the invention on the mobile phone, and cannot include anything apart from that mobile phone. So for example, if I want to include a mobile phone and a tablet, now this tablet cannot be a part of this mobile phone's invention because the whole invention focuses on mobile phone only, right? And similarly, if there are multiple group of inventions, then even though groups are there, that is fine, but they should be allowed, they should be working in a to form a single inventive concept. For example, the plug and socket, the invention of plug and socket will always be a one invention, because plug will never work without the socket, and socket will never be useful without the plug, right? So second example of this is transmitter and receiver. So if there is a transmitter, obviously there has to be a receiver, otherwise how will the data transmitted by the transmitter would be captured or received? Similarly, this invention also of a receiver also requires a transmitter. So any invention can have multiple claims, but they are always, or they are expected to be always, linked to a single inventive concept. Okay, and most importantly, they shall be fairly based on the subject matter that you are disclosing in the specification or the draft. This is very important. Section 10(4)(6) of the Patents Act indicates that a declaration as to inventorship of the invention shall, in such cases, may be prescribed, be furnished in the prescribed form with complete specification or within such period as may be prescribed after filing of that specification. So a declaration as to inventorship, if you recall, we discussed the forms, couple of forms in the requirements of filing of a patent application. So there is one form called as Form 5, which is referred to as declaration as to inventorship. Means it actually indicates those details of those inventors who are actually the true inventors of the invention, and that needs to be filed within 1 month from the date of filing of a complete application, right? This is very important. Apart from that, there is another section in section 10(4). It is called as section 10(4)(7), wherein a complete specification filed after a provisional specification may include claims in respect of the development of or addition to the invention which was described in provisional specification, being development or addition in respect of which the applicant would be entitled under the provision of section to make a separate application for the patent. Right. So here what it says is, like, once a provisional application is filed, you know that provisional application is generally filed when the invention is an idea or concept stage. So when such idea or concept stage is filed, obviously when you work on that such idea and concept, you may end up with doing some modification or improvement to such kind of idea or concept. So when you do such kind of modification, obviously it is understood that they may not be a part of the already filed provisional application. So when you file a complete application, you have a leverage to add those contains in that particular specification, so that you can fulfill the criteria of other criteria of section 10.4 and sufficiency of the invention is achieved. However, what they are trying to say is like if the subject matter is so different from the original file, you can even file a separate application for that particular thing. Okay, so that is what it is mentioned. Section 11A and section 11B. If you recall the patent filing life cycle or patent life cycle, there is a step called as a request for early publication or even normal publication, that is after 18 months from the date of filing of the application or date of priority or whichever is earliest. So after 18 months the publication happen, it is referred to as normal publication, whereas if a publication happens within 1 month from the date of filing of the application, which is only possible when you file a request for publication for that application, then section 11A is the section which talks about such kind of publications. So if you are referring to any of the sections about publication, section 11A is the right section for publication of the application. Section 11B refers to the request for examination, which indicates that uh, if you recall, there are two modes of examination. One is the normal route, which takes around 3 to 4 years for the grant of the patent application, whereas the expedited route, which takes around uh, maximum 1.5 years for the examination to be conducted, right? So this is what is mentioned in the section 11B of the Patents Act. One of the most important chapter which is mentioned in chapter 6 of the Patents Act, it is referred to as anticipation. Anticipation means anyhow it is known in the art. So there are various ways of anticipation. Anticipation by previous publication. Now this is the best example what we discussed couple of minutes back in the last session as well. So any publication before the filing of the application is referred to as a previous publication, and thus anticipation by previous publication enables an examiner to cancel your patent from getting a grant on the basis of the fact that this invention can be published already in the public domain before you may have filed the patent application. So this is what is actually this particular section 29 talks about, and it is anticipation by previous publication. Now, second important part is anticipation by previous communication to government. Now, it is very simple that if your invention is related to any of the government related activities. Okay, so for example, a smart drainage system for a city, a smart electricity management system for a city, for another example, COVID vaccine, and all those things, right? But what happened was like if you disclose this particular invention to the government before the date of filing application, it may still be considered as a prior publication or prior disclosure of your information, unless otherwise there is a concrete agreement that is being signed between the parties which are involved. For example, if any of the officials from health ministry is available in the meeting, it is always recommended that you disclose or you sign a non-disclosure agreement and then disclose whatever proposal you may have for those inventions. Okay, this is very important to understand. Now section 31 is talking about anticipation by public display, etc., which means if you go into any exhibition or if you go into any seminar or session wherein you actually intend to publicly disclose you know in the such session, then your invention may not be considered as patentable because you have already published your application, unless otherwise it is a learned society. So learned society, as we discussed, it is actually a kind of a society which actually is not defined in the Patents Act, and hence it is very difficult to gauge what would be such learned society according to the Patents Act. And thus, for the sake of clarity and easiness, patent office is directly rejecting all the applications based on the fact that it is already published, even though if any reputed transaction journal, for example Elsewhere or IEEE transactions, if the application is published by default on those particular websites as well, right? So it is very important to understand that before you file a patent application, please do not disclose your invention under any confidence, under any particular confidence batch. Okay, this is very important to understand here. Coming back to the another type of anticipation, anticipation by public working. So what do you mean by public working here is like, I gave you one example when we discussed yesterday, that in case if somebody came up with an invention which is about a road, tar road, and this tar road cannot be considered as workable unless otherwise the person himself tests or demonstrates it to somebody or himself in public. Now roads cannot be built in a society or in a in a house. So thus he has to go into public and then try and attempt his invention in that particular open surface. And thus it is assumed or it is understood that when he is actually implementing or working on his invention in public, somebody must have seen that invention. And thus, even if in such cases where public working is really mandatory, then uh, under this clause, it may not be considered as anticipation, and the person may still be allowed to file a patent application, and then this particular scenario may not arise as a anticipation, and he may pursue his patent further. Anticipation by use and publication after provisional specification. So this section is very important because this section generally comes into picture when you have filed a provisional application and you have actually you know you have started using your invention and you have started selling it in the market. So it is very important to understand that in certain extent the use or publication after provisional specification is not considered as anticipation, because it helps to uh, get a kind of glimpse about the invention from public, which can be used further to enhance the working and enhance the technicalities of the invention by the inventor. And thus after filing the provisional also within this 12 months, the inventor can publish his invention in newspaper also. It doesn't matter because it is secured by this section, which means that even if we disclose the invention after the filing of provisional application in the IEEE paper or journal or thesis, the patent application will never be rejected, or it cannot be rejected based on this fact that it was already been used or used before the filing of complete application or after the filing of provisional application. So this particular clause, section 33, prohibits cancellation of the patent even if it is published before the filing of a complete application but after the filing of provisional application. No anticipation, so this may not be very important from your perspective. So this is what my today's presentation was about, and frankly speaking, this is what actually the invention talks about. So what I am planning to do at the moment is like, I would like to show some of the real time kind of sessions where we are doing a search on some of the local databases. For example, ipindia.nic.in. Let us go through this quickly. So here ipindia.nic.in is the government site to search for patent applications, trademark applications, design applications. So here in this interface, if you click on dynamic utilities, you will be able to see here various options of searching. So if you click on patent search, it will be directing you to a new site. If you click on a trademark search, you will be diverted to a trademark site. Similarly, if you are clicking on design application, you will be directed to a design search. I'm going to demonstrate you how to do a search on this kind of interface that will help you to find some of the prior references for your invention, and you don't have to actually go and take assistance from any of the expert for searching, though recommended, but you can still try and do it in-house like this. So for example, if I want to search the patents for Google, I will select here in this particular field as applicant name, and here I will type GOOGLE Google. So what I am intending here is like, I want to see all the patent applications which are filed in India and which are filed by Google as applicant. So you see that till date there are so many applications, around 1185 applications which are filed by Google in India. Okay, so here you see Google LLC is the applicant here in this particular case, and you would be able to see after clicking on these datas like when it was filed, which particular class this particular invention belongs to, which field of invention this particular belongs to, and all those things. Also, you'll be able to read this document here, like what is actually the invention refers to. In fact, you can also go into view application status and see all the details in detail about what this particular invention is actually referring to. So here you see all the documents are being filed here. So here you see the claims are written in this language, right? So this is what is a method claim. This is what is a, I think, system claim would be there. Yes, there is a system claim, right? So these are all inventions. Then again there is a method, another method claim. So these are all how, this is how actually the claims are written in the specification. Complete application is filed here. So you must be seeing what all documents that we saw, the contents of the specification, and you'll be able to see here. This is the form 2 which is mandatorily required for filing, and then there is background, there is summary, there is brief description of drawing. You see the background, they intentionally give it very small so that it is more specific to the invention than to mingle around any other subject matter here. This is how this particular specification is written. There must be drawings as well. So there are drawings as well in this particular document. Right. So similarly, you will be able to see any other results which are associated with the this particular activity. So I think I closed it. So let's try to do another search by a specific terminology. For example, I want to find in abstract, here in abstract, if there is a term called as microorganism. Microorganism. So here what I'm trying to find is, like, I'm trying to find all the results in which, in the patent application database in India, where all the patents filed with an abstract having the term microorganisms is available. I am getting zero results because I believe the spelling may be wrong, right? So let us try like this way. There is only one patent application which I believe they have tried to use microorganism in the strip, which again seems to be incorrect. So this is referred to as a false data. So false data are generally very well uniqueness of the Indian patent databases. So let us try putting microorganism in the title of the invention. So here in the title, I have put microorganism. Let us see if they are able to find microorganism as a part there. Okay. Intentionally trying to show you how generally people make mistakes and how to overcome such mistakes. So here, okay, I have used double inverted commas here. I think the main mistake that happened was, like, we still maintain the applicant name as Google here. So as soon as we delete it, let us see what all results I'll be able to see here. Okay, so I think this database has stopped working because of it. Let us try again. No results. Okay, I'm able to see so many results, 203 results. Microorganism for producing human milk and stuff. Microorganism is simple sample, right? So these are all the results that we'll be able to see when you type the particular keyword. So here there are various fields to be chosen, so you can select any of these things. If you have any inventor name, for example Swapnil, and you try to search Swapnil in the inventor list and you want to see what all results are available, let us try to see Swapnil. So let's see how many applications Mr. Debabrata must have filed. No application. So let us check Mr. Partha. No applications are filed by Mr. Partha. This seems again incorrect. So let us try this way. Eight. There are so many applications which are filed by Mr. Partha. This is what was the patent application site searching. So there are various options that you can choose, various combinations that you can use, and still see the patent applications which are filed in India. Now this is a search which is actually for a design utility. So let us see, in design you want to check name of the article which is contains what, mobile. Any article whose name starts or whose name has mobile in itself, I will be able to see it here. So let us see how it gets. Yeah, these Indian databases sites are generally very slower, so we need to be patient on these things, and we should give a credit to the patent searchers who actually work on these databases day in day out. So I think it's still loading. I don't know. I think this. Let us try again by clicking on designs, and we'll try to find some simpler term which is having less results. Maybe the mobile term was so used. I think the database itself is down. Okay, so let's skip this and let's see what trademark results it. So for example, if I want to find a word mark which contains the word data, and let us say class 41, then I'll do a search and I'll be able to see some of the results which are having the term data. See, datamatics, right? So this datamatic is actually a result of the search that we have found, right? Similarly, there is a Reliance Data Center, Data Expert, and all those Reliance Data Center. These are all databases which are actually seen there, right? Now you can also do a search to find a specific well-known marks. Like for example, these are all well-known marks. Let us see what are well-known marks. 7 o'clock for these are all well-known marks which are filed by people. That means these are marks which are by default known to public without any hesitation. So for example, Whirlpool, then Glaxo, Honda, right? Then you have Kit Kat, wow. And then you have Mahindra, Philips, Pepsi. These are all considered as well-known mark. Castrol, Lupin. So these are all well-known marks which are granted according to the India. So this was the Indian database site. Let us see the European Patent Office site. Okay, European Patent Office site is referred to as eSpaceNet. Whenever you type eSpaceNet patent search, you'll be able to see this kind of search here. So if you click on eSpaceNet patent search, you'll be able to see there are three options to it to do a search. So here is a classification based search, and then there is an advanced search. So if you click on advanced search, you'll be given two options, right? So let us see how it goes. Let us see with the advanced search first. They are literally changed the databases and the type the search. So there is they have given a field combination. So if your title need to have database, and if your let us say if your applicant name is Google, let us see what all results this particular key string would generate. So I need to find a word database and it needs to be of a Google applicant. So I'll be able to see here. Let us try to use the word something else, micro. Microorganism, and let us see WHO. Has WIPO, who filed a patent for it? No. Then which is the other reputed lab here. So NASA, I don't think so. NASA would also be filing a patent for this. And then there is CIFLA, no results. So I think the spelling must be wrong, obviously. Let's try this. No results. Let us try this one. Great. So I think the term microorganism is wrong. Let us try to find the patents which are filed by CIPLA company. Right. So you see there are so many patents filed by CIPLA company. So you can even do this kind of search here on eSpaceNet. Let us try to do a USPTO search. USPTO is a database of United States Patent Office, right? So USPTO. Let us see here what results it is. It's a bit complex, and thus it is recommended that Google Patents and WIPO, mm, the PCT database are the most easiest database to be used, and they are to be done. See, the problem here is that even finding the database, it is so difficult for US patent. So what generally people do is like, just for sake of clarity, so you go on Google, you try to put any random word XYZ, for example, and then you'll be able to see one of the patent here, and you click on any of the random patent, and you click on USPTO here. So you'll be able to see a US patent document being opened. So from that you can go on the USPTO site. I think the site is under maintenance, and that is the reason we are not able to see any of the documents here. So the patent database itself is not working for USPTO, right? This patent open. So if you go on home, you'll be able to see this is what is the patent database search of the site. Here they have given two options. One is you want to find patents that are granted patents, or whether you want to file the applications. So applications which are filed, they will be seen here, whereas the patents that are being filed, they will be seen below it. Okay, so for example, let us see any particular patent application which is recently filed, and we'll be able to select a specific field here. For example, inventor name, I just selected inventor name here. Okay, so I have to write here IN. These are the codes basically, and then I have to put slash, and then I have to write SWAP. I'll search, I'll able to see whosoever Swapnil has filed the patents till date in patent office of United States. I'll be able to see the application here. So let us find where is Swapnil. Yes, so here Swapnil is actually one of the inventors in this application. Okay, so this is how you do a search. It's a bit hectic, because you need to first choose what you want to file, what you want to search. For example, ACLM is the category for claim, so I'll write ACLM here, and I'll write MICRO and search. See, I find so many results which have the term microorganism in the claims itself. Okay, so this is what it is basically. Now, similarly, we can do a similar search in the patent database as well. I mean the USPTO site where the patents are granted. So this is how basically a search is done. The best, I told you, the result finding database is Google Patents. Click on Google Patents, you'll be able to see this advanced search, and you'll be able to do a advanced search here. Okay. So you also are given to an option for if you want to read and learn this particular Google patent searching. Okay, so this is what is actually, I think, the searching session would have been, and that is what I want to discuss today, though it is a very small session of today. But I think the main intention of this session was to discuss these sections which are very critical from the perspective of the patent application drafting. So I hope that at least in line with the discussions that we had in last session all these sections are helpful for you. So in case of any queries apart from this, I'll be more than happy to answer. My mail ID is also written here and my contact number is also there. You can WhatsApp me if required any assistance during the understanding of any subject matter, and I'll be glad to assist you for that. Okay, so thank you very much. Have a great day ahead. I'll be waiting for questions on this session or any other sessions which you want to club with this particular thing, and we can extend that question answer session as well if required. Okay, thank you so much. Have a good day ahead, and all the best for people who wants to enter in the intellectual property right field, and especially from the patents perspective.